Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 353rd Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Just to say that the Friday bonus battle I put on yesterday was fought only 2 weeks ago. Well, this battle was fought approximately 3.5 years ago. So I thought I'd put a modern one on yesterday and an older one on today. As I say, I still can't get over that we've got over 60,000 total views on this Brotherhood YouTube channel. I was just absolutely amazed at that for such an old game. And as I say, I hope you enjoy it, watching our battles the same as you always did. Okay, this battle was fought on the Germania Forest map. As I said before, I like this map because you've got big wide open plains if you want to fight out in the open, and also you've got woods, so you can spring ambushes, or if you bring a barbarian faction you can then fight in the woods and you get the winter bonus and the woods bonus as well. So that's why I like this map. Hopefully it might encourage more people to bring barbarian factions, something a bit different. Okay, our first teammate here is Brotherhood member Uther. As you can see, most of his army is hiding in the woods there, so we'll probably have a look at his army a little bit later on. As I say, I know newer players to Rome Total War enjoy looking at our army builds. Gives them a bit of an idea of how they like to build their armies. Okay, our second teammate is Brotherhood member Lando. A lot of you veterans will know him as Brotherhood member Turbo. And as you can see, a lot of his army is hiding in the woods too, so we'll have a little bit look at that later on. Our third teammate is Brotherhood member Flank Me. Now, a lot of you might not know Flank Me hasn't played for quite a while now, but he's a very good RTW player. And as you can see here, I think he's got about 11 infantry. Look at the upgrades on his infantry. 7 upgrades. So that's an experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his infantry. So I think he's got about 11 infantry there. Very good upgrades. He's got a couple of units there that have only got 6 upgrades on gold shield, gold attack, which I'm sure will be his polar shield units. As I say, he's got 3 archer units there. And if you notice, his general has got 8 upgrades, so that's 2 experienced stripes, gold shield, gold attack for Flank Me's general, and he's got 6 cavalry. Have a quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry, and you can see he's got 6 upgrades. So he's just got gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry there. It's not a bad army. And then our fourth teamer is myself, Spartan Commander, who was unusually bought the Mastodon faction. Now, approximately up to 12 or 13 years ago, people that played with Greek cities tended just to be a passive. Used to be passive with their with the Greek cities, and very often used to just form up a defensive box. If you look at the upgrades on my Mastodon units here, you can see you've got 8 upgrades. That's 2 experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack, and about 15, I think 14 or 15 pike units there. But as I say, up to about 12 years ago, Greek cities used to be used as just like a passive force, and very often the Greek cities general used to watch his teammates get killed and then just sit there in a defensive formation. Have you ever heard of the Greek Circle of Death? You can see my general fully upgraded there. And they used to just sit in that circle, and then we used to have to attack them after we'd beaten his teammates, and very often, most of the time, we lost. And after one particular battle where I noticed that the Brotherhood was starting to lose against this aggressive Greek cities new tactic, I went into the custom part of Rome Total War and looked at pike or spear faction to try and counter Greek cities. And I made 3 armies from Carthage and 3 armies from Macedon, and over the next few weeks I tried them all out against really good players, and I found that I've got one really good Carthage army that I like to use, and this particular Macedon army that I tend to use against the Greek cities. So this army is about, as I say, maybe 11 or 12 years old, but it still seems to work for me against the Greek cities. As I say, when the tactics seemed to change about 11 or 12 years ago, when people started to use Greek cities in an aggressive attacking way, when they saw how good their specifications were, that's when we started to find we lost against teams that had the Greek city faction in it. So that's why I tended to make armies up to try and counter that. Now, as I say, I've got a really good Carthage army that I find can counter Greek cities, but this Macedon army, and especially with the formation that I use that we'll see later, which seems to work well for me. But I do tend to like bringing old armies and old formations to the modern day battlefield just to see how well they do against good modern players. So it'll be interesting to see how this Macedon army, which is maybe 11, 12 years old, does on a modern day battlefield against good players there. So there's our team. This should be a great battle to you to watch, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought I'd show you this old-fashioned formation. This is what I call the block formation, where I've got my pikes densely packed. And what I find is, against Greek cities, this formation seems to be quite formidable. It seems to work quite well. As you can see, I've got 4 Cretan archers as well for archer cover. As I said earlier, we'd have a quick look at Uther's army here, because most of his army was hiding in the woods. I think he's got 12 infantry, including an auxiliary light infantry unit there, which I'm sure he'll probably incorporate in his pilot show during the course of the battle. And I see he's got an eagle unit there for morale for his troops. And if you can see here, he's got 6 cavalry, including a cavalry general there, armoured cavalry general. So I've got the upgrades on that general. And yeah, he's got 9 upgrades, so he's got a fully upgraded armoured cavalry general there. And do you remember we had a look at Turbo's army as well, but that was mostly hiding in the woods, so I said I'd have another look at those there. If you notice there, he's got 12 infantry, and I think he's got 3 archers there. If you notice, yeah, we've got 3 archers there. If you notice the formation of his cavalry, I remember Kendi, Brotherhood member Kendi used to have his cavalry in a formation like this. I see he's got 7 upgrades, so he's got an experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack. And as I say, him and Kendi used to have their cavalry like that, very old-fashioned cavalry formation. So that's a really well-balanced army. 3 archers, 12 infantry, and 5 cavalry. And here is the other team. You can see Brotherhood member Gladius here. As you can see, the vast majority of his army are hiding in the woods, but you can see that its generals there. And as you can see, he's brought the Rome Scipio faction. Their next teammate is a player who's called himself OTS Eastern Swordsman, who's brought the Greek cities faction. So that's OTS. As you can see, you've got 3 armoured hoplites there. With just 6 upgrades on there, so that's gold shield, gold attack. And I see he's got 2, 4, 6. He's got something like 12 Spartan units there, and it looks like he's got 8. Yeah, it looks like he's got 8 Cretan archers. 6 Cretan archers there. So he's got a lot of good archer power there. That's quite a good balanced army. Their next teammate is an RTW player called Greek Vengeance, who has bought the Brutii, the Rome Brutii faction. And I think what I can see there, he's got 15 infantry and 5 cavalry. His general's a Praetorian cavalry unit, and you can see he's got 7 upgrades on that unit there. So he's got an experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack. And their fourth teammate is Brotherhood member Spartan Leonidas, who has bought the Rome SPQR faction. If you look there, he's got 16 infantry and 3 cavalry. So that's a pretty good army there. So there's the enemy team. Let's say this should be a great battle for you to watch, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so at this very, very early stage of the battle there, both teams have just formed up, and this is the very early stages here. As you can see, there's a bit of an archer battle going on at the moment. You can see I've got my Cretan archers there shooting at the enemy Cretan archers, and our allies' archers are also having an archer battle with the enemy archers there. As you can see, Turbo moving forward. As you know, Turbo, very, very aggressive RTW player. And here you can see that I've moved my Mastodon army over to shadow the main Greek cities army here. Okay, so my Mastodon army, maybe remember I've bought this Mastodon army really and solely to counter the Greek cities. I don't want to get bogged down fighting other enemy infantry. If I can help it, I just want to counter the Greek cities there with my army. So that's one thing I'm going to have to watch out for. You can see how Spartan Leonidas has put some pilot shield units in front of his Greek city's allies there to try and protect it from pilot hits. If you notice, the Greek city general's running his Greek city's units there in front of our teams there, showing his flank to our team. So of course our team's going to be throwing loads of pilers into the flank of those Greek city units, probably causing a lot of casualties. Even though those Spartans have got 2 hit points, if they get hit in the side or the rear by missiles, they're still going to suffer a lot of casualties there. I see a lot of units there reduced down into the 70s there by the pilot hits. You can see there's a lot of pilot exchanging here going on between Uther and the enemy SPQR troops there of Spartan Leonidas. As we move along the battle line there, you can see, as I said, Turbo, very aggressive player there. Obviously started fighting already with the enemy green Brutii army in front of him. A lot of you, as I say, he calls himself Lando now, but a lot of veterans would know him as Turbo. Always been a very aggressive attacking player. But just remember, Spartan Leonidas on our right flank has got 16 infantry, so that could be a problem. Over on our left flank, not a lot going on between flank me and Gladius there. And in the left centre, as you can see, as I said, Turbo now is fighting the Brutio units. Right, if you notice that Greek cities, the main Greek cities Spartan army has moved over here to the left centre. If you notice, he's got some armoured hoplites units moving over to the right, or to our right flank there, but his main Greek cities army here has moved to our left centre. Okay, so Turbo now is facing the Spartan army plus Brutii infantry. If you notice there, Uther sent units over. You can see a lot of pylons being thrown in there against the Greek cities and those enemy Brutii troops as well. So there's a lot of pylons being thrown in there. But if you notice there, I'm moving my Macedon army over now because I can see that Greek cities general is now engaged there. So what I want to do now, because the Greek cities general have been running around a little bit on his side of the battlefield there, trying to avoid my Macedon pikes. But I can see now that he's actually got engaged. He's settled there to fight my Julii allies. So I'm going to bring my Macedon units over there. And I'm now going to advance through my Julii allies into the enemy ranks there. Now what you'll find I'll do is I'll run forward with my pike army there. And just as I make contact with the enemy, I'll put the pikes down. Right, so if you notice running forward there, through my Julii allies, and then when I get into touching distance of the enemy, there, bang, put the pikes right down. Okay, so the pikes are right down there, engaging the enemy troops through my Julii allies there. Okay, so I'm now in the left centre there, helping Turbo against the green Brutii and the Greek cities. Right, can you see flank me here moving his Julii forces towards Gladius? But if you notice, some enemy Brutii troops have come around the flank of my Macedon army there and attacking the flank of my Macedon spearmen there. And also, can you see the Greek city general is now advancing aggressively onto the forward units of my pike unit army there. Okay, so there's a real lot of aggression going on there in that left centre. Let's go over to the right flank. You can see some fighting going on there between Uther's red Julii troops and Spartan Leonidas' SPQR troops. Remember those SPQR troops, infantry, 16 infantry units. Notice Uther's got his general stood behind his troops there, giving the general morale bonus. But as you can see here, there's some enemy Scipii as well as Brutii troops, as well as the Greek cities there, looking to come in on my troops. If you notice the red Julii allies there are defending my right flank, stopping enemy from coming around the right flank of my Macedon pikemen. But over here on the left, you can see there's some Brutii infantry coming in on the flank of my infantry. If you notice there, Lando's put his general and another Julii unit there trying to defend my flank, but they are attacking my flank there. And over here on our left flank, you can see that not a lot going on at the moment. With my Macedon army there, I'm not going to do a lot. I'm just going to turn units there to face the danger coming in on my flank. I'm going to try and be the anchor of the team there. My Macedon army is going to, as I say, try and be the anchor there, just to hold there, hopefully, in that centre area, allowing my allies to kind of do their own thing as I hold against the Greek cities as well as the enemy Brutii. And I see there's some Scipii troops out there as well that have probably thrown pylons into my my units there. You can see there's a lot of fighting going on there between my forward units and the enemy attacking units there. You can see flank has thrown some units over there as well to attack the enemy Brutii troops that are trying to get around the flank. But can you see there's Greek cities attacking my Macedon units from the flank as well, pushing in to the flank of my formation. Remember, the enemy are the purple, the blue, the green and Greek cities. And we are the red and Macedon. Okay, so just at a glance, you can see red and Macedon is our team there. Okay, we've massed a lot of cavalry over here on our left flank there, ready to neutralise any cavalry attack by the enemy. As you can see here, I've turned units from my formation to face left here to defend my left flank against those attacking Greek cities and enemy Brutii Roman troops. Okay, that's the beauty of this thick block formation here. If you're attacked at the flank, you can just change direction of units on your flank to face that danger, but still keep a solid front row there against enemies attacking you from the front. Okay, meanwhile over here on the right flank, as you can see, Uther's red Julii troops are fighting the mass of 16 infantry of Spartan Leonidas' infantry there. But as I say, my Macedon army there, it's just there. I'm not going to do anything fancy with it. It's just, as I say, the anchor of our team there. Hopefully being able to hold there while the rest of my teammates can do their thing, if you like, around the rest of the battlefield there. You see there's some enemy Scipii troops moving over towards my Macedon units. And some enemy SBQR units moving over there as well. Okay, but meanwhile here on the right flank, I think Uther's doing really well against the odds that he had there. He only had a smallish army in comparison to the 16 pike urban cohorts units of Spartan Leonidas. Lots of pilot exchanging going on there. But as you see, my Macedon army there, I've turned units to face the threats. Wherever the threats have been coming in on my formation there, I've just turned units to face that threat while keeping a solid front line against enemy that are attacking me head on. So that's the beauty of this block formation. Some people have tried it, don't like the block formation, but it seems to work okay for me. Okay, over here on our left flank, you can see flank me doing quite well against the enemy Scipii troops there. Right, can you see that the SBQR general charges cavalry and infantry in here towards Uther's Julii troops. Nice aggressive move there. Let's just pause the game for a second. So say you can see those SBQR cavalry and infantry charging through. He's got some SBQR infantry in behind our battle line there, heading towards archers and cavalry. But there's a lot of our cavalry out there that could hit that infantry. But notice that Uther's bringing a flanking cavalry attack here, looking to smash into the flank of those enemy SBQR troops. I see the enemy Brutii general sending cavalry over. Also here, as I said, in the centre, we're still holding quite well against the attack of the enemy troops. As I say, with this block formation, the beauty of this block formation, you can turn units to face attack from any direction and still keep a solid front line there against enemy attack. Meanwhile, over here on the left flank, there's a bit of skirmishing going on between our Julii ally and Gladiator Scipii troops there. But I think the main action here is on the right. It could be pivotal on this right here who wins. Right, see Uther's cavalry charging in and bang as that cavalry smashes in to the flank of those enemy SBQR troops. Right, see the Brutii cavalry general sending cavalry over to counter Uther's cavalry attack there. So as I say, this right flank could prove pivotal to whoever wins here. That is some kind of cavalry, and there's infantry being thrown in there as well on this right flank. Right, see our Julii cavalry charging into that SBQR infantry, and bang as that Julii cavalry smashes in to those SBQR infantry. It wouldn't surprise me if that SBQR infantry started to rout. As you can see, there was a massive cavalry hit into that infantry there. And there goes the SBQR general's just been killed as well. You can see a lot of SBQR troops starting to rout there. Right, you can see Uther there pulling his cavalry back from that fray. He'll pull it back, he'll rally, and then he'll get ready to charge in again. Right, just pause the game here. So on our right flank, we seem to be doing quite well against the enemy. A lot of SBQR units have been routed. Remember, there were 16 infantry units there, so we've done quite well. In the centre here, if you notice, my army seems to have been reduced quite a lot. I've lost a lot of men, but still holding. And over here on our left flank, still not a lot going on, although Gladius has got a bit more aggressive with his blue Scipii infantry against flank Miss Julii infantry there. So say, there's a general overview of the battle at the moment. As you can see, Gladius charging his cavalry in, bang as that cavalry hits. He's also taking his cavalry on through to the Julii cavalry as well, trying to smash flank his army there with that cavalry hit. As I say here, you can see I'm starting to move some of my Macedon units forward there in an aggressive manner. Remember, we've talked about this before, changing defense into attack. I've stood there, took their attack, and now I'm starting to turn my infantry into an attacking force, moving my Macedon pikemen forward to attack the tired enemy troops. As you can see here, there's still quite a lot of SBQR infantry left, but luckily our team's cavalry's done a lot of good work on the enemy team there. Over here on our left flank, you can see Our Julii cavalry charging in there. Turbo's Julii cavalry charging in there, trying to take out the enemy Scipii infantry and cavalry there. So we're doing quite well there on repulsing the enemy attack there on our left flank. But as I say, you can see I'm moving my pikemen forward. I'm starting to move my pikemen around now. I've come out of defense mode and now going into attack mode with that pike formation. Let's say, remember, the enemy are the blue and the purple and the green. The blue, the purple and the green, and we are the red and Macedon. Remember, the enemy also got Greek cities as well, but most of the Greek city units have now been taken out. Okay, so you can see Gladius with his Scipii army there, fighting our Julii ally on the left. Right, if you notice now, can you see I've taken, put my pikes up and are now running my pike army forward. What's left of it forward over to the left flank. Meanwhile, Spartan Leonidas, his SBQR troops have made a bit of a comeback. They seem to have rallied. Remember, we saw a lot of them routed there, but they seem to have made a comeback there and are causing some problems over on our right flank. Okay, as I said, you can see I've upped pikes here, running forward towards the enemy Scipii troops. There's a Greek city unit there that's caught in between my units there. I'll probably rout them soon. But as you can see, we've got quite a big cavalry advantage at this stage of the battle, so that's going to help us out a heck of a lot. You can see the cavalry hits going in, routing the enemy Scipii infantry. As I say, plus I'm running what's left of my Macedon army forward. As you can see, I must have suffered some quite big casualties there. I can see not a lot of my army left. There's a Greek city's general still alive, and as I say, the SBQR troops over on our right flank seem to have done well. In fact, you could say that our right flank has now been broken by the enemy team. There's just one battle damaged unit left over on that right flank. So for all intents and purposes, our right flank has now been broken. Okay, but we're doing well over on the left flank, and we've done well in the centre there at routing enemy troops. As I say, the cavalry advantage that we've got here towards the end of the battle could well make the telling difference here between the two teams. As I say, my Macedon pikemen, as I say, I've upped pikes. I came out of defence mode and went into attack mode at the right time. Remember, if you form up a defensive box, as long as your box holds, sometime you've got to turn defence into attack and start aggressively attacking the enemy troops. So as you can see here, I'm running my Macedon units forward. I haven't put the pikes down on as yet. I'm still moving forward, attacking with the swords, and we've managed to rout most of Gladius' Scipii army over here on our left flank. So we've done well there to do that. But if you notice, our team hasn't got a lot of infantry left. We've got a lot of cavalry, but if you notice, not a lot of infantry, and the infantry that we have got left is extremely battle damaged. Only my Macedon army seems to still have a reasonable number in them, but they have been quite depleted by this battle as well. But as I say, if you look around, you can see that most of my Julii allies are cavalry, not infantry. So we're up against a lot of SBQR infantry here. So you see that Greek city's general just ran his Spartans forward. He's in a very exposed position there against all my Macedon units, and our cavalry advantage could tell, because if we charge cavalry into that engaged Greek city units like that and bang, smash in there like that, we could indeed rout that Greek city's general, which we've just done. The Greek city's general's just been routed there. And if you notice, the SBQR general's just charged his infantry, and we'll probably hit the flanks of that SBQR infantry, hammer and anvil attack, my Macedon pikemen being the anvil and my allies cavalry being the hammer there, and we've just routed the last, or nearly the last, of the enemy's team there. But like I say, as you can see, if you look around the battlefield here, you can see some very battle damaged cavalry units left and some very battle damaged infantry units left. Just pause the game for a second. And you can see there, 25. If you look at the cavalry units, 10 men, 2 men left in our cavalry units there. Some archery units left, but this was a really costly battle. My Macedon army has been greatly depleted. I can just see by looking at the numbers there how many men that I've lost. So as you can see, this was quite a close battle there. But we managed just to edge it there. I think it's probably, as you can see, just by the units that are left, it should just be a close one for us. Right, you can see here, can you see where my Macedon army was holding? Can you see the dead around the outskirts of where my Macedon block formation was holding there? And over here on the left, you can see a lot of where a lot of cavalry battles were going on there. I just think there may be just a couple of enemy units left to rout. But as I said, you can see that they were infantry units 25, 20, 25, and just some cavalry left of my allies. So it just goes to show how close this battle was, with just a few units of my allies' Julii army left, and they were all battle depleted. It was a very intense battle there, and I think it could have gone either way. Looking at the casualties that we suffered. Just going to fast forward here, as there are some enemy units that haven't admitted defeat yet, so we'll just catch them. Okay, well, I'm very surprised to see that being an average victory. I thought that would have been a close one, looking at the battle depleted units that we had left, hardly any infantry and just cavalry, so we must have just literally scraped in to the average victory there, as I thought it was going to be close. My old 11 or 12 year old army did quite good there, managed to scrape in the highest kills. Spartan Leonidas did good with his 16 infantry and 3 cavalry, and OTS Eastern Swordsman did good as well. I don't think Gladius probably got the kills that he wanted there, but in general it's a very close and intense battle there. As I say, I'm very pleased with that old Mastodon army of mine. So just to say, really well played to Spartan Leonidas, Greek Vengeance, OTS Eastern Swordsman and Gladius. Well played, guys, and well done to Flank Me, Lando and Uther. Hope you enjoyed this battle, and bye for now.